Y'all see me okay? Let's try to maximize today's time. I'm trying to push this back a little bit. I hope I don't mess things up. Okay, there we go. Hi, everybody. Okay, now I can see much better. Good evening. Come on in, say hello. Come on in, say hello. Can someone confirm that? Let's do audio audio check. Can someone confirm if you can hear me on Facebook and oh wait, Adrian, no. Hold on 1 second, people. Ooh, did I just lose my okay. Give me 1 second. It's been a day. I'm telling y'all, it's been a day. Hi everyone, come on in. Good evening, Miss 𝒊𝒔𝒊𝒂𝒏𝒕. How are you? Hello, Jesus. How are you? Can you, Miss 𝒊𝒔𝒊𝒂𝒏𝒕, can you hear me okay on YouTube? Yes, no. Hi, I am 𝒊𝒔𝒊𝒂𝒏𝒕. How are you? Okay, I was just about to ask that. So we're good on. Why's my brush strap falling? Loud and clear, perfect. Okay, because I've been doing the updates that my IT guy told me to do. But anyway, hey, Miss Malabi, I responded to your email earlier on. If you check it. Hey, Miss Sanctuary, it's been a day. I'm telling you, y'all, it's been a day. So why is my brush strap falling off? TMI, I know. Yeah, because I'm trying to. That's what happens when you lose weight. But anyway, happy Thursday, everybody. Come on in. Say hello when you come on. So you can see it. Yeah. Say hello when you come on. Let us know where you're joining in from, what state you're joining from, what country you're joining in from, what city. If you okay, now this is becoming very annoying. Hold on 1 second. I'm sure many are like, it's 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Trying to. Okay, there we go. There we go. Let me tuck it in under it. So it, okay, there we go. Like my mom would say, 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Okay, now we're good. Thank you, Ricky Love. This is Attorney 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing the immigration clients in all 50 states. If you've got an immigration case, especially with this whole new change, we will be glad to represent you. 334-341-4475. Visit our website at 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓.com and all things immigration. It's been quite a roller coaster this past Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 4 days. It's just 4 days. It's just literally 4 days out of 4 years. It's just 4 days out of 4 years. It is something. But anyway, we will be glad to work you through. One thing I've been saying even before the inauguration this past Monday, and what I will still keep saying is, if there is anything that you qualify for, this is not the time to procrastinate. This is the time to evaluate your specific situation and file whatever you can. There is, hello, Fine Shandy and Miss Sabina. There is a whole lot going on. So many policies. We're almost, we can't even keep up. But we didn't get to a lot of questions on Tuesday. So let's try to get to as many questions as possible. So what are we doing tonight? Tonight is all about, let me see. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to get my, okay. All right. Let me post this here. Welcome in, everyone. I hope your day has been blessed in spite of. Okay, so breaking news after breaking news. Let's answer your queries. That's so they can say, it's like every day there's in the sanctuary now we're texting us, and she's like, I need to get up the news. I'm like, yeah, because you're gonna run yourself crazy. It's ridiculous. But put your questions in the comment section. I will try to get to as many questions as. Hello, Warunki from Kentucky. That rhymes. He's bent on finishing the ink in the White House before. Oh my goodness. Listen, well, that's what I said. If there's anything you qualify for, this is the time you want to file. And a lot of people listen, even our clients who have pending cases, or everyone is panicked, understandably so. So we've got so many questions, but let me say this. If you've got something pending, there's nothing guaranteed. For the most part, if you've got something pending, especially for those who do not have like a removal order, absentia order, anything like that, there really isn't any reason to fear. There isn't any reason to fear in the first place if you've got God on your side. But realistically speaking, if you've got a pending case, what I'm telling my clients is make sure you've got proof of your pending case. So basically, if you can have a smartphone and you can use it to take selfie, please make sure that same cell phone is being used to take copies of your receipt notices. It's not just for selfie. It's also to make sure you protect your own status and your authorized state in the country. So as you take a selfie, or you scan whatever, scan receipt notices and have it everywhere you go. Or if you're able to take copies, whatever, but it's a lot easier. Everybody's got a smartphone, have copies on your phone. So because you just never know. So that's what I'm telling people. So if you've got a case pending, there really isn't. Now, if you've got a case pending, in addition to having a removal order, obviously that's different, because there's a lot going on. There is, oh, by the way, first of all, congratulations to Miss A. One of our clients who got her VAWA case approved today. She came to us from another firm. She had been, a VAWA case has been pending for over 2 years. They told her there was no EAD that she could get while the case was pending. And until she watched one of my videos on YouTube, she was like, okay, this is always talking about a work permit you can get while your VAWA case is pending. And so she decided to consult with me. And long story short, we were able to get her C9. And unfortunately, she got an RFE sometime last year. It was not the best RFE. Basically, USCIS says what she submitted for good faith and shared residence, it was very questionable. So we went to town, and as God will have it, today we got an approval of her VAWA case. Not only did you get an approval of a VAWA case, we got an approval. So she has a C9 work permit after not having it for over 2 years and being told she could not. Has a C9 work permit, has a VAWA case approved. So her case status shows we ordered your new card, and then the C31 we filed also. She is getting that. So basically, she's going to be having 3 EADs from coming from having none. See how God works? It's still the same God on the throne. So congrats to Ms. A. So we'll be glad to help you. So that's what I'm telling my clients. Make sure you've got you have your proof with you. But if you've got if you've got an approval, what's it called, a removal order, and you've got something pending, this is the time. And if you don't have an attorney in your case, this is the time you need to have an attorney in your case. This is not a time to do DIY. You do DIY at your own risk. End of story. But if you need to contact us, our contact is 334-341-4475. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Follow us, like, follow, share, subscribe, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. So you got the information at your fingertips. So let's get going. Put your questions in the comment section. And please do not repeat questions. So it could be a lot faster to go through them. So a couple of things. Birthright citizenship. We talked about it on Tuesday. That the new president, this new second new, whatever it is, signed an executive order trying to change what the Constitution says about birthright citizenship. I also explained what their argument is. And if you weren't here with us on Tuesday, the video is still up on all platforms, so you go replay that. But states already filed, about 22 states now already filed lawsuits against him, challenging the unconstitutionality of that executive order, because they're trying to claim in a nutshell that if your parent is not subject to jurisdiction of the United States, then you shouldn't be able to claim citizenship at birth. Today, a federal judge put an injunction in place, so basically a hold on that executive order going into effect on February 19th. However, the stay is only good for 2 weeks, 14 days. giving both parties time to make their arguments. If it is extended beyond February 19, then nothing, everything stays as is with citizenship. If it's not extended for whatever reason, so for whatever crazy reason, this judge says, well, they can. Obviously, we appealed, it's just going to be quite a journey. So just buckle up. That's on that. There is also the travel ban that's going to be in place. It's already started. They're going to be scrutinizing and making admission into the United States especially for people from countries where you've got Islam as part of your country religions, such as Nigeria. We know what happened the first time. Basically, he's doing it all over again. There is also expedited removal going on. Expedited removal, basically, right as we speak, the truth be told, my office is in a small town. I had a consultation with a lady this morning where we have a court hearing coming up next week for a custody case, not even immigration, because I do family law as well. We've got a court hearing coming up in a custody case, but I'm putting it in motion to continue the case right now because the area where my office is, and they know me that I represent, especially when it comes to immigration. Of course, they know that I do immigration, but when it comes to family law and criminal defense, most of the time, I'm the one who has the immigrant client. And so because I'm not sure of all this ICE raid, I put in a motion to continue that case just to be on the safe side, because the last thing you want to have, God forbid, is to be in a hearing for custody and your client is taken from court and deported. So expedited removal is going on for particularly targeting people who are undocumented, been in the country for less than 2 years and unable to show that they have a pending case. So if people who fall within those categories are being expedited, meaning expedited removal means you're not even getting a court date. They're taking you off, detaining you and putting you in a plane back to where you came. It is crazy. So please note that this is not the time for DIY. It is not. The word is enough for the wise, as they say. Okay, let's see what else. There's a whole lot going on. I can't, I'm trying to brain freeze right now, but let's see what your questions are. Okay, birthright citizenship ending order is blocked only. You mean executive order is blocked only for 14 days. Then what will happen according to? Well, there's nothing according to my knowledge, but based on how the legal system works, 14 days can go to 28 days, can go to three months. It just depends. So it can be extended, and it can be lifted. It just depends on the arguments that are going to be made. That's up to the court after the judge hears the argument. Now, if for whatever, and I think I just said it earlier, if for whatever reason the judge does not prolong and extend the stay and decides to let them move on with the executive order, there's always going to be appeal. So they can appeal and appeal all the way to the Supreme Court and ask for a stay at each level. So this is something I don't see either way, because one party is not going to be happy. So this is something that most likely is going to end up at the very top, which is at the Supreme Court. And and that's the goal of this new administration. They want this case to go back to the Supreme Court so that they can revisit the landmark case of Wong Kim-ark to revisit that case of the Chinese guy. Let me just make sure. I want to make sure. Wong Kim-ark. I think that's it. Yeah, Wong Kim-ark. Yeah. That was a guy that was born here to Chinese parents. Supreme Court upheld the 14th Amendment and said it doesn't matter whether they're subject to jurisdiction. This administration wants that issue of what subject to jurisdiction, who does it apply to. They want it revisited, and so that's what they're hoping. So we'll just have to see. So that's what's going to happen, and constitutionally, that's usually how that goes. Okay. Allah 𝒊𝒎𝒓, thank you. Hello, Mr. Kobina. Happy New Year to you. Where have you been? Okay, let's see. Hello, Mr. Kobina. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining. Yes, so please subscribe, follow, like, share. especially on YouTube, please go ahead and at Olale Immigration and subscribe to our channel. Hi, Miss Tina, how are you? And we do this every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. I have a VA pending. My 2 years EAD expired in May last year. In March and October, I have tried to renew it twice, but my attorney, and yet I've not received the receipt. Can you help me? Ask your attorney. I'm not sure what. I mean, if you, what do you mean you've tried to renew it twice? Why are you not getting the receipt notice? I'm not understanding why are you submitting it twice? If you submitted in March, why submit again in October? Because you didn't get the receipt notice the first time, or what? Nana. Martin doesn't say anything when I go to him. All he says is he has filed and we should wait for the receipt, but it's almost a year now. Can I spot him in Florida? We can get you a second opinion. I can't tell you whether or not what's going on in your case, but you can always get a second opinion with me or someone else. I just don't see a reason why you shouldn't have a receipt notice if you filed something twice. Going on a year, I'm just not getting it, but we'll be glad to give you a second opinion and evaluate your case. This is a positive platform where we share our immigration journey and encourage one another. So let's hang in there and keep our faith. Amen, Miss Abena. Absolutely. Great, Miss Tina. Nice to know. Okay, let's see. I want to make sure I'm trying to not. Okay, all right, let's go on Instagram. How do you, I know how to do this on oops, TikTok, but I don't know how to do it on Instagram where you make the questions bigger, because even with the glasses, somehow they think they shouldn't make this font size big. Hey, hello, finest Shandy. Thanks for calling me on Tuesday night, because that was a heated night, I'm sure. So tonight we ain't stressing ourselves at all. Rolling 247. Good evening. How are you? Omoba 202. Good evening. How are you doing? Thought you were incoming. No, I was, because I just got home not too long ago. And tried to eat the chicken wings that I was supposed to eat for lunch in the office. It came home with me. That's to just tell you how the kind of day I had. So yeah, I still didn't finish it before, but it's okay. Yeah. Oh, if I wasn't coming, I would have made it. Hello, Miss Fumbi. How are you? Emma Binu. Kept you waiting. Emma Binu say, alone if you see you say Emma Binu. Let's see. Coming everyone not to deal. Good evening, Miss Linda Sanctuary. Yeah, yeah. Oh yes, I had to continue my clients because I know not to risk that, because I don't know. Hello, Mr. Afolabi, how are you? Okay, let's see. I'll say hello. I probably have just murdered the name from Houston. Welcome in. Hello, Mr. Magic. You're welcome back from planet Mars. Right? Yeah, yesterday was off day. I had to respect myself yesterday because I you know how we Africans always feel like we're superhumans. So but my body reminds me from time, like, Auntie Joko, have 200 seats, because you may be feeling this way, but your body is telling no, we're going to be healing. I sent a photo of my cousin, Miss Sanctuary, was like, are you sure you had a major surgery? Like, because I sent a photo of because I have a hip to hip incision. She thought I was kidding. It's like a whole cut. And she was like, so how in God's name are you jumping around? I don't know, because I don't listen. But then again, I've got so many people waiting, and y'all don't even know. Call, and that's why for me, I have to schedule things. I have to schedule calls. If not, you're going to break down, and that's just the truth of the matter. And thank God for my team. But even with that, it's just a lot. But still, I had to put my feet up yesterday. and respect myself very, very much. Yeah. And it was good that they actually, schools were closed Tuesday. So TJ went to school yesterday, right? Yeah, they went to school yesterday. I'm trying to think of that. Mr. Magic, we missed you too, I think. Okay. Just signing everything like a toddler. Like someone just gave him. Maybe he has a new pen. He was like, "Oh, this pen," because I love pens, so I can sign it. Like, can a child born to undocumented immigrants still get a U.S. passport now before February 18th? It's actually 19. Can we apply for one now? After the yes, it doesn't. So it doesn't go into effect until February 19th. That's number one. Number two, it doesn't even have any effect right now based on the order from the federal court today for at least 14 days. So that even stops it altogether temporarily. If after 14 days that stay, that hold is lifted, then the February 19 date kicks back in unless another court puts in another stay before then. Most likely going to happen. And if there's another stay, then that puts it back where it was as if there was no executive order issued. Until there is a court that says, yes, you can go ahead with this order, or a court that says, no, you cannot. Either way, if that happens before, whatever happens before February 19 will determine whether or not the executive order effective date of February 19 is going to take place. I hope that answers your question. But until then, whether there was so let's assume the federal court had not issued a temporary stay on it today. Let's just assume for purposes of this question, can someone still now apply for a U.S. passport for their child? Yes, because it's not February 19 yet. But with the order now in place, that just basically makes the executive order as if it never was. It's not effective at all until that changes. So that could change in the sense that it could be prolonged, it could be lifted, whatever. We just have to see what happens within the next 14 days. Hope that answers your question. Her 300, actually was more than 308 people, was 400 and something at the time I left the office, arrested by ICE today. Yes, it is happening, people. It is happening, people. So this is not, we're not trying to make you afraid. That's why I'm telling people, please file what you can. USCIS is still approving cases. They're still scheduling interviews. Stopping scheduling interviews. They have an interview from my clients coming up in Atlanta. They are scheduling interviews. File what you can. But make sure you have an attorney on your case. Can I file my marriage green card now? If you qualify, I don't see why not. Miss A, I'm so happy for her. You have no idea, because when she got her RFE last year, she was like, "Sister Noya, I don't know what I don't have anything to give." I was like, "Okay, we're going to need statements, and we're going to describe what happened in your home. Like, what's the color of your bathroom door? What did you guys do? Now, what did you wear to bed? What?" Like, I get really, really into your business because I don't like denials. Do we get denials? Absolutely. That's why, it takes me like 200 years to get over it. A lot of my colleagues are like, "Why do you take these things personal?" Because I don't know, because it's me. For me, I want to know that I've done everything God has given me power to do, humanly possible, for your case. So I get in your business. I ask you about everything. What was the favorite color of underwear that your abusive spouse wore? We'll put all of that. Like, we'll give them the insight they want to know. Things that normally you've got to know someone to read, whatever it is. Now you have it. So we were very detailed with her. And labeled everything. You've got to label everything and tell them, okay, there's no how this person would know this, but for this reason. And, and you put the rest in God's hands. And I think we submitted that. So their RFE was submitted the week before my surgery. So the week before Christmas. Yeah. Because it was due. No. I take that back, yo. This is how crazy I am. It was actually submitted after I had surgery. Don't judge. We listen and we don't judge. I can pull it up real quick. Because I had surgery on December 23rd. And it was submitted. It was due January 2nd. That much I remember. So I know that. Oh, yes. Well, listen and we don't judge. I actually went to FedEx on December 30 because it was due. Everyone, we were off. My whole staff, we usually give my entire staff the last 10 days off, paid time off, so everyone can enjoy our Christmas and New Year with their family. So we're off. But I had to make sure that happened because it was due January 2nd. And even though I was working like an old lady, I had to find a way to get her work done. So I'd done majority of that before, but I finished up and then went to FedEx on December 30. It was delivered on December 31st, I think, or January 2nd, the exact date or something along those lines. And it was approved today. We thank God. God is faithful. Sooner your joy will overflow, inshallah. We are going to celebrate you soon. I have faith is pretty soon. Amen, Mr. Bennett, and for everyone else waiting. But Mr. Bennett has a special place in my heart. And yes, amen, amen, amen. You have no idea. Like it would be a party. It would be, I'm a die everything. I'm a prefer me speechless because she is one of the sweetest, kindest human beings you would ever meet. And I'm not even kidding. One of the kindest people ever. And she's my 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 sauce too. So, so we got to get that. DIY is do it yourself. Don't do it yourself. Oh, okay, someone already answered. Can the grandmother file for her grandkids, please? Unless the grandkids are adopted and now considered adopted children, but there's no grandparent, grandchild category. Would my wife being an occupant on my lease be fine to submit as evidence compared to being a lease co-signer? Why is she listed as an occupant? Because sometimes they may ask you that question. So I'm asking too. That's what I'll ask a client. Why is she listed as an occupant? Is there a reason why she cannot be on the list? Her credit is not good. What if you got a reasonable explanation? Then that should be fine. Okay. Thank you, Miss Sanjay. Just because we listen, we don't judge. We won't talk about the lunch that turned to dinner. Exactly. We listen, we don't judge. Keep it moving. Totally zero tolerance for no negativity. I'm telling you, there's enough out there this week. Yes. I couldn't even if I tried. God, it continues spreading you. Thank you. And this is in line for the harvest. Thank you. Let me go. Can you respect that on me? Does this apply to kids born in 2020 and 2000? I mean, so the birthright citizenship thing is not going to be retroactive, meaning it's not going to apply to kids who were already born. It's going to be in the future. It only would become effective. Yes, effective would only apply to children born February 19, 2025 and after. I know if I answer you were here for me on Tuesday. I know. Let me go. Let me go to Burani. Can respect that. I mean, sometimes that's okay. Yeah, 400 plus already. Yep. Okay, let's see. Yeah. I would judge you. Well, her case got approved. Exactly. If I didn't take myself to FedEx, I missed the due date. We won't be celebrating her today, right? Okay. Do you work in all states? For immigration cases, yes. Hello, Miss Peggy Ekale. We'll have a party at finally. Oh, thank you, Mr. Nigerian, answer that question. The Three Musketeers, no. How long does it take for an approval after? So I knew that question was going to come up. I have some cases that were sent before Miss A's case, even that case, one off the top of my head, Mr. K's case, was sent before hers, I think in October or thereabout, or even November. We're still waiting on his approval. So you just never know. And it depends on the officer he's assigned to. There are a lot of factors that go. So there's no set time for when you can expect an approval after you send in your the response to your RFU. So there's no set time. Every case is different. Every case is different. So, hello, Miss Lucy. How are you? Miss Lucy, Ashanti told me you called earlier on. Have no chance for calls, but I get my assistants can help you. There's really nothing to worry about, Miss Lucy. We've already filed your case. I was just waiting for receipt notices that would authorize you to stay in the country. Is someone who has a removal proceeding but I-130 still pending also referred as undocumented? Yes, but you have a proceeding which due process should allow you to stay. So undocumented basically you don't have a permanent status, but you can be undocumented, but be authorized to stay. I don't want to complicate things, but basically undocumented is you don't have a legal status. You may be in the process of attaining a legal status, depending on if your case eventually gets approved. But undocumented people usually end up in immigration court. The expedited removal they're doing now is not every undocumented person is going to be expeditedly removed. That would apply only if you've got nothing pending and you're undocumented, you don't have any legal status, you've got no immigration benefit pending, application benefit pending, and you've been in the country for less than 2 years. That's just discrimination at the highest level. Mama's here. Hey, Mama. Okay, let's go to TikTok. I'm going to try. Yes, and we're on the road. Thank you for not repeating questions, people. It is very, very helpful when that is not. Oh, yeah. So even just to add to my work for Miss A's case, my mom was around when I was working in that case, and she was like, "Oh my, like yo, you say then goes one ear and goes out the other ear." Because anyway, we thank God for the outcome. It is what it is. Let's see. From Massachusetts, can you change your lawyer prior to your asylum final hearing? You can, but most lawyers usually don't want to step in at that point. Let's see. What's the situation of the people with pending cases? What do you mean? What's the situation? That's a very broad question. Do you think it's wise to overstay on your visiting visa at this time? No, unless you have a plan in place, like you qualify for asylum, you are getting married, you're changing. I mean, no. I'm sure you know the answer to that question before you ask me. Let's see. Are you safe if you won your asylum? Absolutely. If you won your asylum case, then you have been granted asylee status, which is a legal status, which is the whole point of filing for asylum, because you're afraid to go back to the country where you feared persecution. So asylee status is a humanitarian status that protects you in the United States. You become eligible to apply for a green card as long as you've been physically present in the United States for a year. So if you count it and now that could change with this guy. So that we're just taking it a day at a time. So what will be the potential change in VAWA cases under the Trump administration? Because there's no potential changes that we know of at this point. And keep in mind, there's some things that is not, you just can't decide you want to change something because by stroke of a pen. For instance, VAWA is codified in the sense of it is protected under the VAWA Act, right? And so that is something that was passed by Congress. Laws are passed, and laws become laws because bills are passed by Congress, and they're signed. Then the bill is signed by the president to become law. A president doesn't just change something that is already codified, meaning it's a law. It has to go through the United States Congress. I hope that helps. I'm a citizen, but my mom has my mom has been a permanent resident for years. Is she safe? She ain't. She aimed to be. Okay, so you're say you're a citizen. Your mom has been a green card holder, but she doesn't want to be a citizen. So she said there's no reason why she's not safe. Obviously, a green card holder is always subject to deportation if you commit a deportable offense, or if you abandon your green card, or you're deemed to have abandoned your green card. For instance, you stay outside the country for beyond a year without a re-entry permit. So it's a permanent. They say it's a illegal permanent residency, but it's still subject to change. The only thing that's not subject to change is citizenship. But even with that, since he wants to do not trust everybody, that's even now subject to change. But we haven't heard anything about the stroke of a pen for that, so we'll see. At least I haven't read it yet. All right, let's see. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know what you meant. This December is year 5 of green card. Does my wife need my information to file for citizenship, or can she do it on her own? If she's been a green card holder for 5 years, she's not filing based on marriage. She's filing based on being a green card holder for 5 years, so she doesn't need you. I mean, it doesn't sound. She doesn't need you for the papers. When it's not thinking, okay, yeah, she doesn't need you for the paper, for the citizenship. You understand what I mean? I mean, she needs. I would think she needs you, but yeah, for that. Okay, this person decided to just. There you go. If I go through a checkpoint with my U.S. citizen wife, can they arrest me? I'm only waiting for an interview. If you've got a pending case, that's what I said earlier, and just have proof of your pending case. Have your receipt notices scanned into your phone. We all have smartphones scanned. So it's not just for selfies. They now you use them for things that are actually going to make sure you are protected. Yeah, right. So yeah. Is it safe to travel with advance for anything about whether to travel with advance for? Ask your attorney or sit down with a lawyer to evaluate your case. U.S. citizen in Mexico. Spouse has approved I-130. What happens if it's picked up? Do they close his case? If it's picked up with an approved I-130, then you're going to, hopefully it's not picked up, but if that happens, hopefully he didn't enter with that inspection. Because if it did, then that's going to be a bar. You're going to need, waiver of the unlawful presence, and definitely he's going to have to cancel the process, and they're going to request for USCIS to not transfer. Well, it just depends. If you enter without inspection, then the case should have already been transferred to the National Visa Center. If he came in legally and overstayed, and the case is still with, and was approved and still with USCIS, and you're waiting on the green card application, and it gets picked up, then that's going to be a request to transfer through an I-824 to the National Visa Center. So it just depends. That's just that's something you have to sit down with the lawyer to just know how it applies to your case. What if you have an NTA? Yeah, what if you have an NTA? What is the question on that? I'm a citizen, divorced from my U.S. citizen husband. My 22 years old needs to remove his conditional resident. Okay, so what's your question? Can someone with a pending asylum case travel interstate through airport with the new administration? Anything about travel? If you're not a client, that's another question I'm going to answer. I can give you general information. Like I said on Tuesday, starting May 5th, I want to say it is Real ID is going to become the law unless that changes. But if you've got a pending asylum, so generally, if you've got a pending asylum case, it allows you, authorizes to stay in the country until your case has been adjudicated. But make sure that you've got proof of your pending case, whether it's asylum, marriage case, whatever the case may be, have proof that you've got a pending application. Moses Adewale, I'm good. Thank you for asking. 𝒊𝒒𝒐𝒊 for real. I love that username. And you as well. Hello, Miss Delia. How are you? Okay. I have a pending asylum case and I haven't been called for interview yet. So what's your question? Y'all need to ask questions. You're making statements. Executive order on birthright do not need congressional approval. No, executive orders are not bills. So there are three branches of government: executive, legislative, and judiciary. So Congress is legislative, president's office is executive, the legal department, legal field is the judiciary. So all the courts. Laws are different from executive orders. Executive orders are policies. Policies are not created or introduced by the Congress. Congress introduces a bill. That bill, basically a bill, anything that is law in the country, whether it's state law or federal law, started as a bill in the Congress, state legislature or U.S. Congress. That's what law is. An executive order is not law. An executive order is just saying, based on the law that has already been created, this is the policy we are going to put in place to carry out this law that has been created by Congress. So an example of this executive order and the law coming together or being executed is the 14th Amendment says, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. The executive order is saying, because this is what Congress has already said, as far as who should be able to get citizenship, we are saying that if your parent is not subject to jurisdiction based on how the law is written, then our policy is saying you cannot get it, because we're trying to execute what Congress already said. I hope that makes sense. So it's executive order has nothing to do with coming from the Congress. My customary divorce after first green card 7 years ago. Now for my 10 years is rejected. What can I do? Sit down with a lawyer and see why it is. Because first of all, this is exactly what I always tell people. And if you've been my client and we've done customary court or Islamic marriage, whatever, an affidavit is all they need. Before you file anything. Now, in fairness to you, Mr. Moses, even up until 2021, even I was not 21, 22. I wasn't paying attention to divorce documents, to be honest with you, because I didn't have a reason to. Everything was filed. Everything you can possibly file was filed. Because I mean, I got admitted to the Nigerian bar in 2002. It was the same year I came to the United States. So I didn't really practice, but for like 2-3 months before I came in. So I wasn't really I have more knowledge about it now than then. But when it became an epidemic where cases were being denied because of that, I had to now educate myself okay, let's get more information about it. So that's now when I said, you know what, this should not be as complicated as this. But a lot of people just do not know. And that's why I always say that, like, for instance, if I'm going to start a marriage case now, in some cases I look at I wish I had done. Some cases I'm still even praying and holding my breath, living in Jesus's hand, because those divorce documents are questionable. But right now, I don't even start a marriage-based case without, and for someone who has been previously married, without seeing your divorce decrees first. If it's going to be questionable, and I can tell you that it's going to, I don't authenticate documents, but I can say no, let's just, it's not going into the fire. No, this is going to burn the whole thing up. So, but the thing, what USCIS is doing now is not just this administration. This actually became a huge problem during the Biden administration. Go figure. What they're doing is you're going to find that people who use a certain divorce document to get a 2-year green card, to get a 10-year green card, now file for 751, and then USCIS says no, we based on records, this does not conform to the format given us by your government or to the reciprocity schedule, or you file for citizenship and they tell you we're not lawfully admitted because your divorce decree was questionable, and you're wondering why didn't you figure that out before you give me a 2-year green card or 10-year green card. The law says they can't. So the best thing you can do for yourself is to have your documents evaluated first before you file anything. I-130 spending for 2 years. Should I worry of ICE? I can't tell you whether to worry of ICE because I-130 is a standalone petition. It doesn't confer any benefit on you. Someone outside the country can be the beneficiary of an I-130 petition. So it doesn't really help anything beyond giving you a foundation to file to adjust status or to cancel the process. So whether or not you should worry of ICE, that's not a question I can answer. My friend wants to file a VAWA case, but her husband took all the wedding photos. What can she do? Get test affidavits from friends that attended the wedding, a declaration, all the photographs of life together before they got married, places they lived together, trips they took. There's so many, but you can sit down with the lawyer to evaluate her case. Okay, so Mr. Moses said, yes, so can I repeat question? I did call question like 200 times. You're done now. Mr. Moses. Okay, we'll go. To remove the condition on son's residency, do I petition for him instead of the divorced stepdad? Just to make sure I understand your question, Ms. Kikalomo, you're asking if you should file for him. Why would you file for him if he's already a green card holder? And keep in mind, he's 22 now. So it means that you guys did not get your conditional residence at the same time. Or how did he even get his conditional residency to start with? Through the stepfather? And I'm guessing that he didn't file his at the same time. I'm trying to figure out why he's still a conditional resident and then you're a citizen already. This is something you need to, there's a whole lot missing facts in this scenario than what you've provided, the information you've provided. Okay, Mr. Moses. All right, let's see. All right. Okay. Let me see. Where did I stop on? Okay, still got a little bit of time. According to him, he found it, but when I called USC, they said they have not received my application. I'm attorney looks unconcerned. You can always get a second opinion. My friend's VAWA is pending. She's pregnant and going to be a single mom. So if she gives birth in April 2025, so how the baby will get the benefits? I cannot tell you what's going to happen in April 2025 because we don't even know. I don't know what the law is going to be at that point. We're just going to take it. It depends on what the policy is, whether this thing sticks or not. But determine. But if her case is not approved, it's very specific. If the case is not approved, then the mother is not in any permanent status, like that's what the policy says, and the father is not a green card citizen, then the child does according to the executive order. But I cannot predict what's going to happen in April 2025. She's going to have to wait to see what happens then. So, okay, you're talking of if it goes into effect, which I really doubt, because this is something that the lawsuit can take the entire 4-year period. I'm telling you, the lawsuit can actually literally take the entire 4-year period. So, but if it goes, and God forbid, I hate to speak things like that into existence, but if it goes into effect and her case is still pending and the father is not, no, she's a single mom, but someone got her pregnant. So if she's able to prove that the father is a green card holder or a citizen, then the child would automatically become a citizen. So it just depends on the person's case. My green card through VAWA will be 3 years in May. Can I put in my naturalization now? You can't put it now because that's more than 90 days. You said May, so you've got to count 90 days backwards. 90 days will be sometime what more for me? So sometime in February, I think I went to law school, so I don't have to do math. But if you put it in too early, they'll reject your case and send it back. But that is also still dependent on if the abusive spouse was a citizen. If the abusive spouse was a green card holder, then you're going to wait 5 years. Good evening. Can we travel with parole now Trump is the president? Again, if you're not a client of mine, this is a very general forum, so I don't give advice to travel unless you are a client. And I think that person is my client. So if you're my client, then you can email me. Is it normal to submit RFE and nothing get and nothing? Is it normal to submit RFE and nothing get any updates on whether they got it? It's 2 months plus now. I submit RFE from I-86W. So that's a question even some of our clients ask me. USCIS does not send you any acknowledgement that they received your RFE. They don't. You don't get a note, just like you get a receipt notice, a transfer notice, an approval notice. You don't get a notice from USCIS. Oh yeah, we received your RFE response. No. The best they're going to do is your case status for that particular application can update to show that RFE response received. That's the best you're going to get. But to actually get a notice from USCIS, no. So the only updates you can possibly get is to the case status would update that it's been received, which is it happens a lot more than not. But sometimes you may not get that at all, and that's just what it is. You're just going to have to wait. So if you submitted that response in October, it's still less than 3 months. So I won't worry about that yet, especially and depending on the field office that requested for it. Hello, Ms. Murtha. When is considered a pending case? For instance, when your case have not been approved? Yes, that's basically it. You filed it, but it's pending adjudication. I filed for asylum in 2015, still pending, married a U.S. citizen in 2022, got my green card in December 2024 through marriage. Congratulations. I want to know if my immigration history allows me to adopt a 17-year-old from Togo. You can adopt if the country, based on the country's laws, but if the intention is to bring that child to the United States as an adopted child and then file for that child as an adopted child, a 17-year-old child cannot be the child has to be 16 years old or younger, unless you're adopting not a sibling of that child who is under the age of 16 and before this child turns 18. And dependent, in your case, you would only qualify for family adoption. There's orphan adoption, there's family adoption. You only qualify for family adoption because you're not a citizen yet, unless your spouse decides to be the one to adopt. Either way, a 17-year-old is too old for adoption if you're planning to file for the child, unless you're adopting a sibling that's under the age of 16 and before the 17-year-old turns 18. Okay. Hello, Davis. Thank you. All righty. Let's see. Thank you, Queen, Miss Queen Khadija. Thank you very much. What did I stop on Instagram? I think we still have like 2 minutes left. How does a criminal case or record of a spouse affect immigration benefit? When you say criminal case or record of a spouse, are you talking of the petitioner? Or are you talking of the beneficiary? Which one is it? Okay, let's see. Can having bankruptcy or debts affect an undocumented immigrant now? I'm trying to understand what you mean. Like, is that going to not put the person in the limelight, kind of like bring bring the focus on you. What is the what do you mean can it affect undocumented immigrant now? What changed from then to now? Miss Peggy, I never knew if you're serious enough. My brothers and sisters, what is listen, I'm just going to let's see. Hello, Mr. Abu, how are you? I'm one of them. I got denied because of my divorce decree from Nigeria. My case got denied after 4 years old. Listen. T. Joe, that's my baby boy. That's my baby boy. TJ, you on your way back, he went for a basketball tournament. My basketball. Y'all will be, when the time comes, I'll be sending tickets to y'all to come to the NBA game because all these, shuffling that we do for this kid. I've told him, better take care of your mama. T, you on your way back? Silly kid. He says, hello, sissy lawyer. It's American kids, I'm telling you. Have zero respect. Were you a citizen when your children were born? My oldest is 20, 2004. 2004, I was on H4. 2004. I was on a J2 visa. So my oldest kid, I was on a non-immigrant visa when my oldest kid was born. So we didn't have this craziness of this birthright. And then 2010, I was a green card holder when TJ was born. Okay. TJ, if you say hello, sister lawyer one more time, I will ban you even as my child. Because thanks for all you do for us. And shame is Peggy. Criminal case of the petitioner. Okay. As long as it's not a crime that falls under the Adam Walsh Act, meaning a sexual offense against a child, most of the time, even though it's always discretionary, but the criminal record of a petitioner. I had a fiance visa approved recently, of I-29F approved recently for. I represented the guy in his armed robbery case. So he went to prison, came back. While he was in prison, he met somebody 10 pounds. Listen, we listen, we don't judge. Anyway, so when he came back to me and said, hey, I need to bring my girl from the Dominican Republic, and she's here now. So, and there you have it. Okay, so. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay, you're on your way. Okay. I heard y'all won. Ham's mom told me y'all won. What was the final score, T? We need to support. Yes, please. Online aunties, we need to come out for this. We need to. Okay, we got to not everything. You're welcome. All righty. Listen, we don't judge. Hey, listen. You can't do the kind of work that I do in criminal defense. I'm a judge. You will just have a stroke because. And I think I was just that. I think my mom. I've always just loved advocacy. I've always loved to talk and I've always loved to argue. I love to advocate on behalf of others. It's just a gift that God gave me, and we can argue with. Probably would not try to argue with Jesus because I know I can't win that. Even I know my limits, but I just love advocacy. So. So when you do criminal defense, you're dealing with all kinds. I mean, I represent people who are charged in murder. Listen and don't judge, right? Murder, armed robbery, attempted murder, kidnapping, name it. If you're going to do criminal defense, you're just gonna have to figure out how to drug trafficking. And my client last week, a week ago tomorrow, green card holder that God decided to intervene, and after 6 years with the cell, that's it. We listen and we don't judge. What are the new documents that were output for filing? What are the new documents that were output for filing? What is? I know there were. Oh, you're talking so new versions of forms. If you go on USCIS website, you will see their new version of forms. Oh, by the way, new update from USCIS. As you already know, this new president doesn't care for COVID vaccine. So good news for those who are just about to do their own medicals. You no longer have to get the COVID vaccine as a condition to get your green card. So USCIS effective yesterday, January 22nd. For your I-693, there's no requirement anymore for you to have the COVID vaccination. So there you go. Answer my question, though, else I will judge you. Let me go and answer a question, though. Since my question is an answer. Finance Shannon, what's your question? Please do. Well, listen, we don't judge. I thought I went here. Finance Shannon, through your law. Okay. Does criminal charges affect beneficiary in immigration journey? If at what level are you talking about? Before the person gets the green card, after? Depending on what you're charged with and how it translates in immigration world as to whether it's a crime involving moral turpitude or aggravated felony. Keeping in mind that because you hear aggravated felony and just serious offense. No. There's some offenses that in your state may be considered a misdemeanor, but for immigration purposes may be considered an aggravated felony. So just so you know. So, but a petty offense may not necessarily affect you if it falls within the petty offense exemption. It's case by case. So a criminal charge can potentially affect your case. A criminal conviction most likely would affect your immigration eligibility depending on what it is. And so it can affect you at the level of about to apply, and you may be found inadmissible and you may be required to file a waiver. Or if you're a green card holder, it may make you deportable. So it just depends. That's a very broad question, Finance Shannon, but it just depends. Can't see. Ronke. That's nice. What is your question? Repeat your question. Put your question up again so I can answer that. Let's see. Miss Peggy, please. Yes, yes. Would having bankruptcy or debt be like a moral turpitude or a reason pick up? There's no that's it's not it can be like a moral turpitude because it's not a criminal offense, but that's a person. They can't go to your bank. Your banks can give them, or the financial institution can give information to go pick you up. It has to do with them just knowing that, but you just never know. That's why, for instance, I said like my custody case next week, I decided to continue that just because of what the atmosphere right now. So whether or not that's going to lead to, what is your question again, real quick, Ronke? I'm going to wait for you to put your question up again. So, I have parole presently. Can I travel to Nigeria? Oh, you're serious, Miss Peggy? Okay. What's the question again? How would you dream? Miss Peggy, what's the question again? How can your brother, sister want Miss Peggy? Can I still travel domestically, including Puerto Rico? Do you have your documents? Because Puerto Rico is part of it's a territory of the United States, but you can encounter ICE officials on your way to or from Puerto Rico. I don't play with anything. Even people living in Texas are close to the border. You just there's some places, some cities in Texas you don't even want to go close to. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Ronke, I'm waiting on your question. So that hello, Miss. That's awesome. Miss Peggy, Shamari, repeat question is I can answer that so we can go. A friend came to U.S. with F1 visa, and now he has 10 years green card. Must he go back to school or is optional? No, it's got 10-year green card. He's a permanent resident. Why would he go back to school? That's the whole point. He's been allowed to stay permanently with the 10-year green card? What if you experience severe abuse during marriage, get I-130 denied? Sit down with the lawyer and see if you can start a VAWA case. Okay. Can undocumented people travel locally? Anything about travel, like I said, if you're not, I sent all my questions to your email because you're a client. Thank you. Okay, Ronke, I'm trying to get your question. I can't find it, and I've asked for you to put it up. I don't know what else you want me to do. Okay. So, all right. So, yeah, there's a whole lot going on, people. There's so much going on. That's just the truth of the matter, right? But we don't live in fear. Fear and faith cannot coexist. It's impossible. One has to work authorization expired and denied twice. What you do? Work authorization expired and denied twice. What you do? Why was it denied? That's the first question. Why was it denied? They would give you a reason why it was denied. And so if they do not understand why it was denied, then they need to sit down with a lawyer to figure out why it was denied. That's where you start from to be able to now figure out whether they are eligible to refile. Is someone with a work permit associated with a pending I-485 safe under the current Trump administration? Your work permit doesn't do anything for you besides allow you to work, just to be clear. A work permit doesn't give you any status. It does not do anything besides you're authorized to work and you can get a Social Security card. Because a lot of people think a work permit is a status. It's not. It doesn't give you anything besides being able to work. That's it. But the basis of the work permit, which is the I-485, a pending green card application based on an underlying immigrant visa petition, is what authorizes you to stay in the country while that case is pending, not the work permit. So the pending I-485 is what authorizes you to stay in the country where, because of that, you're not in the category of people to be deported. Okay, I checked my online status and I found notice of explaining USCIS actions was mailed. Okay, so what's the question? So what's your question on that? What if you find a U.S. citizen petitioner was married and never got properly divorced? What happens to beneficiary? If the marriage is a good fit marriage where they just forgot at momentum, I go boom, divorce, but he just forgot something, then get them to get divorced properly and remarry and you got to pull that case and start. However, if it's been an abusive marriage and part of the reason why the beneficiary did not know was because they were being deceptive and manipulative and the intention did not let them know, that beneficiary potentially can qualify to convert to a VAWA case and continue the case, because even if the abusive spouse commits bigamy, which is they were still legally married to somebody else at the time you got married to them, as long as you did not know and you came to find out later on, that is also a qualifying relationship. Okay, so for I-130, please, what does that mean? I don't know what it means. It just means that you've got to wait to get the notice. That's what it means. There's no how you can know what the notice means. But that's exactly what they said. They mail the notice, you wait to get the notice. When you get the notice, you know, it may be an RFE, maybe I can't speculate to what it is because it's not, the kids are not working on. Okay, so faith and fear cannot coexist. We've got to choose one. And I hope we all choose to have faith. It doesn't mean we're not going to be worried. It doesn't mean that we're not going to be, anxious. Everyone is anxious. That's the truth. I have to take care of my mental health because I know, it's almost like doubling as a therapist this whole week as an attorney at the same time. But understandably so, because millions of people have left everything back home to start afresh anew. A lot of people cannot go back to people that they left back home because, for instance, domestic abuse is rampant in a lot of African countries, including mine. And some people are just here because they found safety. And now this stability is being threatened. So it's a lot going on. I understand that. But we will, we lift our eyes to the hills where our help comes from. Our help comes from God, the one who made heaven and earth. There's nobody on this earth, there's no one in power that God has not given the right to be. So let's just believe and know that he that has started the good work in us, has brought us this far. He's not about to forsake us. He's going to make all things beautiful at his own time. And there is nothing God has started in each of our lives that he cannot finish. There's absolutely nothing that God has started that he will not complete, so that all will return to him to glorify his name. So we'll keep updating you as we get information, but just hang in there. Hang in there. It will get better. It may not look like it, but it will get better. There is no confusion with God, and there is no record of failure with him. I'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.